We are live.
For live Senate appropriation, it's January 15th. We're going through budget adjustment. FY26 budget adjustments. We have the Rights Commission with us tonight. So you introduce yourself for the record and let us know what you have in the budget adjustment.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you again. My name is Big Hartman. I use they, them pronouns. I'm the Executive Director and General Counsel at the State of Vermont Human Rights Commission. I come to you today to talk about the Budget Adjustment Act. The governor has recommended that we receive an additional $25,000. This is to address the shortfall we are currently projecting because we do not anticipate receiving any money from HUD. Historically, we've operated on a cooperating agreement with HUD to handle our fair housing investigations. And each year we're paid for the work we did in the prior year. We are paid per case that we will file and close each year. Normally we receive the money from the prior year's work in September. So we should have by now received a much larger sum than what we're requesting from the budget adjustment for the cases that we closed last year from HUD. Unfortunately,
Do you work on our fiscal year or their fiscal year?
so they pay us this fiscal year for the work we completed last fiscal year.
State fiscal year or federal fiscal year?
Their performance year aligns with our fiscal year. As you can imagine, the Trump administration has deprioritized civil rights enforcement, especially fair housing work. And one of the ways we are seeing that play out is with the Fair Housing Assistance Program, under which we are having this cooperating agreement that's been in place. It gets renewed each year, and it's been in place for at least 10 years. So they told us in October, right before the shutdown, that payments, it's going to be a different payment process. But as I sit here today, I'm not aware of any FAP agency in the country having received their money for the work that they performed last year. Super disappointing because last year we really upped our fair housing cases because we saw it as the one place that we could really grow our budget. And we actually earned under that cooperating agreement twice as much as what we had budgeted to receive. We budgeted to receive around 92,000, where we were slated to receive 187, and we have gotten 0. Thankfully, though, if we keep really lean with our budget, which we always do, we're still able to provide salary benefits and maintain our operating expenses with only $25,000 additional for this budget year.
So you filled the positions that you had from last.
We sure did. We got those 2 additional positions in the fiscal year 26 budget, a 4th staff attorney investigator and a full-time intake coordinator position. Thankfully, I was able to direct hire 2 individuals who had previously worked in our office, and they were able to hit the ground running in August, and they both have extremely full caseloads now. So that
Started in August.
They started in August, yeah, which is like record speed in state government. And they both already knew how to do their jobs for the most part. So it was really a great situation for us to be able to process more new inquiries. You know, we get a high volume of calls each day and emails each day from individuals trying to file a complaint with us or to ask questions about our jurisdiction. And now we have a 4th investigator enabling us to process more cases, hopefully more quickly. And that's been wonderful. The concern for ahead is that along with the other kind of squirrely behavior we're seeing from HUD in terms of doing the voucher for our payment, they're also informing all of the agencies like ours across the country that they're going to be doing a new review of everyone who's previously had a cooperating agreement. And if our state fair housing laws have more legally protected categories than our federal fair housing law, which only has 7 legally protected categories, then we are not going to be deemed substantially equivalent, and therefore we will be removed from the program altogether. So we are looking ahead and concerned about fiscal year 27 because we usually budget just under $100,000 each year from it. So that would be a problem for the future.
Yeah. Would there be an option to set up a cooperative agreement, maybe just like when you're trying the 7 categories that they find acceptable, but you'd still be able to build them, or they're just like, you're either aligned with us or you're out entirely.
Yeah, so when we initially became what's called a FAP agency, Fair Housing Assistance Program agency, they do this review where they compare our state law to the federal law. And as long as we have the same protected categories, we're considered substantially equivalent. They're rewriting the rules on that. And they warned us that any jurisdiction that has more protections will not be deemed substantially equivalent and therefore would not be eligible
At all.
for a cooperating agreement at all. We've already in the past year been dealing with them saying that they will not be paying us for any cases involving gender identity discrimination. But now it seems like they're prepared to go a step further. I speak with my counterparts in especially New England area all the time, and we are all going about requesting from our HUD contact, who we think still works there.
Yeah.
If we can get paid and that there's absolutely no updates given. So, some other offices in the country really rely on a much more substantial volume of federal funds to keep their staff employed. Thankfully, this year's shortfall is only expected to be $25,000 to enable us to just kind of keep the lights on and pay salaries for the year.
Through this fiscal year,
Through this fiscal year. Of course, we had earned more than that under the contract, and we were planning on doing a lot of additional enforcement activities, outreach, and possibly even some fair housing testing programs. We've scrapped all of those dreams for now, and we'll just be happy to stay fully employed for the year.
But you're hoping to get that money. That's the year of.
We are hoping to get it, but it seems unlikely that we will receive it without agreeing to some new mandatory provisions that are additional requirements that we've never seen before.
Even if those work from before.
New ones for just this year.
But it's for work that you already did.
Yes.
I'll say we're not going to pay for that work without this new provision.
That's what we kept asking, because they were like, in October, they were telling us it was going to be this new voucher process. Usually it's just like a formality. You just sign the voucher that's already signed by HUD, and then you can do your drawdown. That usually happens in August or September. This year, they said, we're doing a new voucher program. And we all expect that if we ever do get the voucher, that it's going to ask us to sign on to the mandatory provisions. The mandatory provisions include probably a lot of the things that you've been seeing from other agencies that are these strings attached to receiving federal funds. But the most concerning ones for our purpose require that we comply with the executive order regarding gender ideology, which basically puts us at odds with our legal protections to enforce anti-discrimination protections based on gender identity, and not engage in any DEI activities, which is basically all of the training that we do. You could very easily categorize as DEI. They have also told agencies that we will not be permitted to issue any disparate impact liability theories, which is kind of the cornerstone of how we address systemic segregation and lingering discrimination. And it's not even like you won't use these federal funds to do this stuff. It is like you will not do this stuff at all. So it's difficult to envision a world where I could certify compliance with those terms and still do the job that the Human Rights Commission is tasked with doing under state law.
Senator Brandon.
But that shouldn't have anything to do with the contracted work you've already done, should it? I mean, going forward is going to be tough, obviously, but are you under contract for the work you did last year?
We have a cooperating agreement that we found in since last
So
year.
they're obligated, I would say. To write you that check.
We certainly believe that they're obligated to write us that check, but they haven't come out and said they're not writing us the check.
Okay.
So we're in this holding pattern, and if there needed to be litigation to enforce our rights under the cooperative agreement, it's not gonna get us to where we need to be to make payroll. This.
But you would have
year.
gotten that in previous years by now.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we would get it, before we're even,
Yeah.
in like August or September, so it's already usually in the bank and
And you got
money
none of it, you got zero,
zero. Yeah.
because usually it's just about one drawdown once a year.
Yep. So yeah, we were budgeted to receive about 92,000 this year. Thankfully, all we need is 25, and I'm not here talking to you about almost $100,000.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're able to keep the staff that we allowed you to hire.
I
With just
am
25,000, yeah, that would have been unfortunate. Senator Watson, did you do?
Well, Senator Brennan asked my, or made my comment, so thank you.
Yeah, we have declined to pay for staff training that we normally do in professional development. You know, we have 6 attorneys on staff, so there's a lot of CLEs that we pay for typically, and licensure. We don't have money for that this year. And that's a sacrifice. Those attorneys will have to pay for that out of pocket to maintain their licensure. But you know, we wanted to be able to come to the administration and to these committees saying, this is the bare minimum that we need to get through the fiscal year, and that's what that $25,000 number is.
Okay, we appreciate it.
You mentioned a phrase which I have not heard before, disparate impact theory.
Sure.
Is that, did I get that right?
Yeah.
The phrase, so they're saying, no, you can't talk about disparate impact, like basically racism or any kind of ism like happened and there were disparate impacts. Is that sort of what it is?
Yeah, so discrimination usually has one of two theories. One is your kind of run of the mill. I think I was treated differently. I was denied housing because of my race. That's disparate treatment. Disparate impact is where you have a policy or a practice or a procedure that's not discriminatory on its face, but the impact of that policy or procedure is to unintentionally discriminate against people. So it's where we address things like redlining, equal pay issues. You know, we use it in employment law, we use it in fair housing, we use it in all forms of discrimination. So to put any limit on our ability to use that is highly problematic and really restricts us. And it's definitely disparate impact is one of the cornerstones of civil rights enforcement is, and you know, the Department of Justice is the agency that has put out the guidance that all of us rely on in how to do disparate impact analyses. So, you know, it's just one of the many challenges we're all in this world as it is right now.
Okay, well, thank you. Any other questions?
I'm just here to brighten your day. I'll be back in a few weeks probably,
Yeah.
and we can talk about
Yeah.
the challenge ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I assume sheriffs and attorneys is going to be in person? It could be, well,